Wait for it for the adverts to end. Wait for it for the adverts to end. Wait for it and the advert will end, and then we can get on with the show. Howdy, peeps. Welcome. Guten Abend. Willkommen. Howdy. G'day. Bienvenue. Bonjour. With all the other various flavors of language. How is everyone? Hope all are well, fandabidozy and fantastic. I just finished sucking on my butt. And howdy, Andrew. First one here. Actually, here before, literally, as I was still doing the thumbnail. But very early and eager. Thank you very much. Apologies for missing you last night. Yeah, got back from work late and had to walk home from work, so even later, and then had to have tea and was shattered. So just engaged flump mode. Yeah, it says something when I sleep 9 hours straight through at night. It doesn't happen very often. So yes, 3 weeks now. Good dear. Yeah, it is. Well, yeah, I'm working this Saturday as well. We should make an effort. I don't have to get everything done this Saturday. I can leave a little bit for later if I want to, because I'm not going to be selling any fishies next weekend. So that was another reason I had to get all my chores done today, or done yesterday, so I could do the fishy catching this morning. Sammy boy, you right, Yella and Clark, hitting nice and early. So we do have two main bits of news this week. Firstly, fishes are all fine. No deaths. Well, none that I've noticed. Let's be honest. There's probably been a couple I haven't seen. So none of the characters, as it were, are ex-fishies. I did have to remove another batch of bristlenose eggs from in there. Just got to know where to put them. I've got somewhere I could put them, but I don't want to. Trip to Derbyshire Koi yesterday. Ended up buying 4. Ooh. At some point, you're gonna just go for the common carp because they are far prettier, in my opinion. 8-hour road trip with a Sharpe. Oh, hopefully I can keep you company for 2 hours of it, Tom. No mad mowing today, just driving from A to Z. Yes, obviously okay to drop Debs' GoFundMe link for her grandson. I shouldn't be. Well, howdy, Austin. How you doing? Yes, it's kind of been one of them weeks where work has kind of been quietly busy, if you get my drift. Been a lot to do, but not a huge amount of customers. Except at annoying times of the day, like 10 minutes before you close, and it feels like somebody just parked a bus outside. Yeah, we had 2 of those days. One of them was yesterday. So, yes. And couple that with walking home rather than cycling home, because I took my old bike to work and I gave it to one of my colleagues. Why would you give your bike to your colleague, Sharpe? I mean, it's a nice thing to do. Well, because those of you who might have me on face ache, I got a new bike. Video to come. Obviously, it's something I can make a video on, so I did. Plus, there's a special guest appearance from Pumpkin. He's a very pretty little cat. So yes, there's that. And Yella's going to get drunk tonight because the Nanakaras have laid eggs again. I swapped the coconut hut over for a half a flower pot. So terracotta pot, just cut in half lengthways. So you end up with, you make two little sort of half caves, as it were. And Missy Cara decided to lay her eggs all over the top of it rather than inside it. So perhaps they aren't cave spawners after all. Perhaps they're more like rams. They like to lay their eggs on a nice rock. So that's good. But at least it means we can see the eggs this time. There's a lot of them. And then yes, later in the week I've got my new bike. So it is of course okay. It's more than okay. Post the damn link to Debs' GoFundMe. I'd be more upset if you didn't. Yes, post it. There we are. If you weren't aware, Debs' new wee grandson has some problems, and the stuff that is required is going to cost a lot of money, despite us having an NHS. And the family needs a little bit of help. Don't know if the exchange rate isn't in your favour. Hey, it's not the amount. Even if you donate $1, which is like what 80p at the moment, but it all adds up. It all helps. Every penny gets them closer to what they need to get to, and yeah, even just sharing the link helps. You know, we're Fish Fam. We stick together. We help each other. What we do. So I know you're polite and you always say and you always ask. Pardon me. And I'm not polite because I do things like that on live streams. But if you've got a link for someone who is in the Fish Fam that we all know and love, for something like a GoFundMe or well, because they need help, feel free to post it in my stream. I'm not going to get upset with you because charity begins at home, as they say. And in this day and age, let's be honest, we all need a bit of help sometimes. The way prices are skyrocketing and wages are stagnating. Exactly. We all need help. I mean, some people go out and buy 4 koi. Weirdos. Adele, my darling, how are you? I hope you're not wearing any highly unprofessional clothing today. Well, we don't offer mental help. We just all mental, you know. We're all nuts. We'll keep fishing after last night's show. You need help. 3 a.m. in your PJs. Plenty professional for me, Adele. Just don't go wearing yoga pants because who would wear such a thing? Yeah. Just don't tell Sam that you're in bed in your PJs or he'll be getting all excited. Mufti, how you doing, John? Hope all is well with you, sir. Johnny No Shoes. oiled. Sorry, I'm going to have to, before my feet overheat and cook, I'm going to have to take the socks off. No, I'm not flashing my feet for you, Sam. Don't want you making a mess in my back garden. It's all right. I have got no sense of smell, so they could stink real bad and it wouldn't matter. Oh, that's better. Anyway, where were we? Yes, so new bike video will be coming up this week. The main reason is the old one had it, and I wanted to be able to go on adventures, as it were. Be able to get a bit fitter. Sharpe socks. I should be more pew 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 pew. Pardon me. Yeah, so take myself off places, film things, perhaps even film the journey, improve my fitness, my weight, and there's a few things on my mind that I've had that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. One of them is there is an old route. It gets called a Roman road, but it predates the Romans by quite a long way. It is an old drover's road and route of pilgrimage, which takes you from Nettishall, which is just outside of Norfolk in Suffolk. It's about 5 miles from Thetford, if you know the area remotely. And it takes you all the way up to the coast, up at Holme next to the sea. It's as I say, it was a pilgrimage route to the Shrine of the Virgin Mary at Walsingham. And I've been thinking about walking it for a while, and I thought, you know what, I can cycle it, it'd be easier. So yes, that's the plan. This is cycle that at some point. Maybe not this year, probably next year, before I've got the fitness levels up. The dreaded doctor's checkup tomorrow, trying to increase my blood sugar to upset them. Oh, Haribo. Haribo will do that. Or tomorrow morning before you go, that'll bump your blood sugar levels up to Sharpe levels. G'day, Craigo. Stopping in before bed to hit the like button. Nighty night, sir. Have a good sleep. And Quirky, howdy do. But yeah, so it's a cider's got apples in that. Yeah, it's one of your 5 a day. You drink 5 pints of cider, that's your 5. Actually, it's probably more than 5. Yeah, so the Peddars Way, it's a 46-mile route, one way, and it's mostly, like 95% off-road, gravel tracks, footpaths, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's the plan. And because of the length of it, I'm not cycling there and back in one day. I'm never going to be that fit. So plus there's some interesting things to stop off and film on the way as well. Wildlife reserves, priories, castles, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that'll be at least a 2-day thing. Always time for pie. It's always pie time. There's never a time of day it's inappropriate to eat pie. Anyway, so yes, back to the Peddars Way. We a 2-day trip at least. So that will involve me wild camping at some point. So yeah, we'll probably practice that before we do the Peddars Way, so I know what have a vague idea what I'm doing when it comes to setting up a tent and things like that. But that's kind of my plan anyway, is to get fitter, create more content, enjoy long leisurely rides through the countryside. I wonder why the meat pie thing. I've often wondered that, because it's pretty much anywhere else we've inhabited. The meat pie has stayed the same, or survived. It's changed slightly, but it survived. But for some reason in America, it didn't. I mean, I had wheat, I had meat, I had offal. No idea. Perhaps it wasn't just religious differences that made them board the Mayflower or whatever and go off to pastures greener with their European illnesses, smallpox, murderous intentions. Perhaps they just didn't like pies. So I asked Grandad what he still found attractive about Grandma. Her teeth are like stars. They come out at night. There's on a similar kind of bent. If someone identifies as a dog, does that mean they can poop on the pavement? But then they have to get someone to pick it up with a bag. Be mass confusion. That there would be. I can't work out this metric system. It's so hard. It's intense. Sake. It's the easiest counting system you could possibly come up with. You want to go up or down a distance, or you take a zero off or add a zero on. It's really not hard. It's that time of stream when all the various watch this notifications come up, most of which I've already watched. And hello, Steph. Now I can see you. All the notifications have gone away. Typically, the last one was funk, so yeah. Yeah, so that's my plan: is more cycly, lose some of the girthiness, get a bit fitter, and fingers crossed, you might have to put up with a Sharpie for a bit longer. As I say, and also it means I can then go off to interesting places and film things. Hello, Angelique. Turtle escaped. So to take your apartment up and down to find him. Yeah, he'd have been underneath something, I'm sure. Silly turtle. I nearly had a turtle escape the other day, but thankfully I was really close to a toilet. Yes, Mother's Day in America land. So happy Mama's Day to American mamas. Yes. Apparently it's going to be a wet Mum's Day. Yeah. It's weird that Mother's Day is different times of the year in the UK and the US. I think Father's Day is coming up. So Ah, there's still Mother's Day weekend there. Hey, Mother's Day here is in March, I think. So I can't remember. Um, don't worry, I didn't forget to get Mary things. I've got Mary things. Um, my clue is generally, you see all the signs and the cards and the stuff in the shops. So oh, it's Mother's Day. I think it's March and June. So I get my birthday in May, and then for some reason Father's Day in June. Um, Mary insists on getting me a Father's Day present. Hopefully she's not telling me something. No, that's not possible. Um, yes, weird that it's different times of the year, different parts of the world. I suppose it's. And it might be that there are other celebrations at the other times of year. I don't know. I'm not overly familiar with Australian and American public holidays and celebrations. Um, I still think one of the best ones was when an American asked me, "Do you guys celebrate Thanksgiving or Independence?" Yeah, it was Independence. Why don't you? Why don't you guys celebrate July the 4th? Um, might want to read up in your history, mate. Be like Americans celebrating Vietnam. Just, yeah. Um, although we just refer to it as the lucky escape. It's right up there with the American tourists getting upset that the McDonald's in Krakow doesn't take dollars. Um, or the review of the Sydney Opera House, which simply stated that there were too many Australians around it. What? You go to Australia on vacation, you go to one of the most famous landmarks in the whole continent of Australasia, or Oceania, whichever you want to call it, and you complain that there are locals there. Yeah, I forget, it might have been TripAdvisor or Yelp, it was one of them, but yeah, there's a review, 1-star review of this in the Opera House because there's too many Australians. Uh, oh, yeah, we had pies earlier. We're trying to work out why the whole pie thing, while it made it from here to Australia, New Zealand, other parts of the empire, but meat pie never really made it to America. I reckon it was because the first settlers actually decided to leave the UK, not because of religious differences, but because they didn't like meat pie. It's the only thing I can think of. Yeah, there was another thread. Yeah, there is nothing more American than apple pie. It's Scottish. Yeah, yeah. It's Scottish or English. It's a British thing. We were doing apple pies hundreds, if not thousands, of years before. Yeah. In fact, there's probably a tin somewhere. There's probably a Fray Bentos apple pie that's probably older than America. Probably still edible as well. Um, I'm sure at one point Fray Bentos did make apple pies, not just steak and kidney and chicken. Yeah, we probably invented pies. I think the first ones were the Cornish pasties. Um, and the reason they were made like that, the pastry wasn't meant to be eaten. It was basically a container for the lunch. Um, so you could hold it with your filthy, dirty tin miner's hands and not get your food dirty. Um, and one end of it was the meat and veg, and then the other end was the fruit. So apple pie. We're still eating it all. Yeah, me too. What's a bit of a mining grit going to do to you? You've been breathing it in all day long, so bit in your belly ain't going to do any more harm. Yeah. Actually, I wonder what they did in the ye olde days when they were down the mines and needed to go for a number two. Did they have like a little side, a little side tunnel with a hole and a bucket? Good, 3G. How you doing, Greg? Good to see you. Actually, that's probably what they use the pastry off of the Cornish pasties for. Wiping their butts down the mine after lunch. Hey, this is how it used to be. Multiple uses for everything. Um, yes. In other news, we do have one fatality, fishy wise. The lights in the Shelly tank have died. So I had to order a new light for a 57 litre Fluval Flex. I did check when we were in the LFS this morning and they didn't have any. So I had to order one from Spamazon, I think. And then while I'm at it, it'd be rude not to order a few more bits for the bike. A rear rack, so it can, a granny rack for the back. Um, so I can fit panniers and a rack bag on it. So that when I do go take myself off my bike packing adventures, I can then have somewhere to put everything without carrying it in a rucksack on my back. Because if you've ever cycled at any great distance, or any distance really, especially in warmer weather with a rucksack on, even walking, your back gets really sweaty. It's not pleasant. So it starts hurting your shoulders and your back and your neck. And yeah, so if you can put the weight on the bike rather than yourself, it makes life a lot easier. So if you've not seen the post on Facebook, the video will go up this week on the new bike, so you'll see that. Yeah, that is the main thing I've been looking at this week, is bike bits and bike routes that I could take. I think the first proper ride that will be done will be in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks time. I've got 2 more weeks at work, and then I've got a week off. So I might take the bus to or take the train to Norwich, and then cycle back to Attleborough, which I know it doesn't sound far because it's what, 17, 18 miles, something like that, but be a good first test. And I'll probably film a couple of videos on the way as well. I'll have to see if I can figure out how to do a time lapse on the GoPro, and then we'll give that a go at some point. Time lapse of me cycling along with bugger all happening. road, road, tree, tree, verge, rain, puddle, all waiting for the, oh my God, Sharpe fell off. So yes, that's the plan for that anyway. Get some zoomies going, see how far we can get, and also work out how fast I generally ride. Yeah, get an average speed, and then I'll get a better feel for how long the longer rides might take. So, because if I did do the Pedder's Way and I'm like leaving 2 or 3 days for it, and I'd get there like mid-afternoon, it'd be like, oh, now do I camp for the night? Or do I just turn around and go back again? Or do I cycle the extra 20 miles to Kings Lynn and get the train to Norwich and then the train back to Attleborough? Nanakara, Anomaly, Norwich. Yes, we do have Nanakara eggs again, Sam, so you can have another drink. Ooh. Yeah, that's pretty much, other than work being work and vague silliness, I've been doing lots of research on cycling and cycle gear and lightweight camping gear and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot more to it than I thought there would be. But one thing I have noticed is that doesn't appear to be many sort of reviews of bikes or gear. So yeah, we shall see. Yeah, well, so I've been to work and back on it once, and I went on the day I got it. I went on a 7.5 mile ride. Got absolutely drenched because I got about 3.5 miles from home and the heavens opened. G'day, Marquis Mark, Baron of Barras, Yeater of Yabbies. Indiana Jones look-alike. I'm just waiting for the video of you on a camel going across the desert. That'd be the, yep. He's turned into T.E. Lawrence, aka Lawrence of Arabia, who actually died in a motorbike accident. Random factoid. Yeah, so I've really not got much to talk about this week. I'm props to people who do like streams every day or like 4 or 5 times a week for like 2 hours, because I have no idea how you find enough to talk about. So keep going. Mind you, they probably put a bit more work into doing like research about things and looking up subjects to talk about. Whereas I just turn on the computer, fire it up and go, hey, how you doing? Pretty much like my videos, really. Well, actually, some of them I do research, so, and take my notes. If you've seen the various churchy type wonders, you'll have seen the famous notes. Actually, you'll have my turtle. I hope he stays in now. It's not good whenever any animal escapes. One that's supposed to be in an enclosure of some kind, whether it's finding a narrow snail halfway across the carpet or a fish has jumped out of a tank, or a turtle has escaped, or a hamster that's escaped, or in Bob Caver's case, a snake. I mean, it'd be bad enough if you're feeding crickets and they start escaping. Oh, God. They'd wait until it was quiet and you're about to go to bed, and then you'd hear them going, and you're oh. And as soon as you go into the room and turn the light off, and they've shut up and hide. Yeah. Yes. Every little helps. Exactly. If you're not from the UK, every little helps was the Tesco advert tagline. When they used to go on about being the cheapest supermarket all the time. Then Lidl and Aldi came and they weren't anymore. And then Lidl stole it with every little helps, which has to be done where really. So, sure, Tesco probably got quite upset with that, but you know, there are certain things you can't actually trademark. Oh, £3,831 with a goal of 5,500. So well over halfway. I'm sure the fish fam will get there. I'll say it's another 1,700 or £1,669. Well, I'm sure either get there or get very close. And yes, thanks to everyone who has contributed or contributed, whichever accent you prefer. Out and about, and the service is very spotty. Try to be above there, constantly buffering. Hopefully you get this message. See you later. Yes, we got the message, Sam. Nanakara, don't drink and drive. Just give us a knock on the back door when you're ready to come in. Yes, the old joke about yellow living in my back garden. Had live crickets for the frog. Oh. Yeah, I can imagine. Also, that's one thing that's kind of put me off reptiles. I mean, I don't have a problem with bugs. I'd quite happily pick up a cricket or a mealworm. That's not a problem. It's just if they escape or they die and go nasty and start stinking and I'm not aware of the smell. You're welcome. I'll gladly trim my bush for you, sir. Or 30 of them. Oh, dear. Oh, no. Yeah, 30 of them. That would be a case of move everything out of that room and set off a bug bomb in there. just to make sure they're all dead. Yeah. And so it's bad enough I make sure I shut the back door before it gets dark so I don't get stuff coming in. The more we can avoid spiders coming in, or moths, or anything else nasty and bitey, the better, really. Obviously, come summertime, I'll leave it open virtually 24/7, but at the moment, and given how many wolf spiders there are running around in my back garden at the moment, I'd rather avoid it. I'll let the birds eat a few first, and hopefully they might eat each other. Oh, yeah, that was the other one I did. Had to clear out in the shed. Yeah, worms aren't as quick as crickets, definitely not. Yes, I cleared out the shed, well, part of it. Um, all three of my bins were full, so I kind of had to stop. Um, Mostly just so I can get the new bike in the shed, so it's not just outside exposed to all the elements. Um, but yeah, there were a lot of spiders in there. Some very big ones for the UK. Some very evil-looking ones as well. And I found a mouse nest as well, which was active. Um, it was in an old TV box, which I'd left in the shed, as you do, along with the polystyrene and all the other packaging in there. And yeah, there were live baby mice in it. So I moved it very carefully, intact in one piece, and actually just put it underneath. And thank you very much, Mark. Thank you very much indeed for the 10 memberships. I'm sure Marek will be very happy to be a member. Um, Avoiding jokes about Marek wanting my member. Ants on the floor. I get ants fairly regularly coming through the front door. I just put some ant powder down, and that tends to do the trick. Howdy, Muttonka. Once I did have a bunch of. I came in from work one day. It's going back several years now. And there's this sort of black mass riding around on the carpet. I was like, what the hell is that? Look a bit closer. It's ants. What the hell are the ants? What the hell are these ants doing? Because there's like a palm-sized sort of pile of ants. What the hell's going on there? Somehow the ants had managed to catch and kill big wolf spider. And they were disassembling it and taking it back to the nest. Got an ant's nest near the pond. Food for the koi? Yes, it is. Wild food is the best food. As I say, I don't feed that pond, and if you saw the video, those comets aren't exactly skinny and underweight, are they? They're fat and happy. They're pretty chonk, actually, to be honest. Um, yeah, wild food is the best food. As I say, sunlight and natural food brings out the colours big time. You don't have to feed food with special things in it to make the colours pop. It just happens. One of M&C's outdoor cats was chasing a frog and went for a swim in the pond. The cats have learned leave the frogs alone. Zach to the point where he was scared of them. Talking about a cat that will quite happily face down a dog 10 times his size and probably win. But yeah, he went for a frog once and it screamed at him. Ever since then, he wouldn't go near him. To the point where he'd be in, and one time in particular stands out, I was upstairs in the cave building a model, and I hear a little meow come from behind me. So I turn around, say hello, and he meows at me with his human "I need help" meow. Look, he sort of walks away a bit, meows again. All right, follow him downstairs. Bless him, he wanted to go to the loo, and the back door was open, but there was a frog sat in the middle, just sat in the back doorway, and he wouldn't go near it. So yeah, I had to move the frog before the cat could go out to the loo. And so he went out for a week because the reason the frog came in was because it was raining. Um, so he went out for a week, came back in again. I'll say this is the cat I've seen savage people and other cats being scared of a frog and putting baby birds back in their nests. And a couple of days later, I'd find a blood-eagled pigeon in the shed, literally a pigeon flat on its back with its wings out and its chest ripped open, and all the tasty bits gone. Yeah, cats are funny buggers. Dogs are fairly predictable. So are rabbits and rats. Cats, you never really know what they're doing, what they're going to do next. Hamsters are just psychotic, as we've covered before. And then you get Mark who don't like cats. Just needs the right friendly cat to decide you're their pet human, and to give you all the snuggles and the head rubs and the snoozies, and then you'll fall in love. Currently playing with the paper bag, as all good cats should. Zach loved paper bags. He loved boxes. Loved his catnip sock. And neighbour's cat living with you, as long as it's trying not to eat the fish. So Zach would just sit in front of the tanks and watch the fish. You just sit there. He used to play with Norman the better. He used to put his paw up on the glass, and Norman would swim over to it, and then he'd move his paw, and Norman. So he's doing that around the tank. Loves paper bags, boxes that short-lived novelty. Maybe try plastic. Oh, don't you mean a sack? Isn't that the time-honoured one? So, sack and a brick is the time-honoured way of getting rid of a cat, apparently. Apparently it still happens as well. Cats are lovely when they want to be. When they don't want to be, they're little assholes. But I suppose that's the thing. At least with fish, they can't escape from you. Although, you do have a feral. Do you still have a feral cat issue in Australia? I know you did have. Was that in the 90s? Yeah. Feral cats. Afternoon owl, Mr. Moist Toes. Poopy bookwork day. Oh, hang on. Because we haven't done it for a while. Headphone users, please remove headphones now. The squeaky poop emoji. Well, yeah, some fish do try to escape, but the only ones I've ever had actually jump out of the tank was a couple of the limia, but that was because they were getting chased by the crebensis. You're welcome, Al. The killifish didn't jump out of the tank. I mean, they kind of did, but they jumped into the filter. He just came running in at a squeak. She had the squeaky toy and came running, did she? Sounds like me in bed, actually. Sleeping. Oh no. I'll put smiley face in the front. I think it was like 99p. I just saw it and thought, oh, I've got to. Couldn't have timed it better. Run. She's currently trying to attack the phone or whatever you're watching on. Doug is always trying to find the squeaky one. Oh well, there you go. It's brought joy to your animals, if nothing else. I mean, anyone wearing headphones is now deaf, but squeaker through the speaker. Exactly. Oh. Actually, I'm wondering, Andrew, was the answer to one of your questions actually seahorse and Jeff got it right? Or was it the one time he put a different answer and it wasn't a seahorse? Oh, dear. Yes. Squeaker through the speaker. Rips the squeaker out immediately on new toys. I think goes mad crazy for it and destroys it, or it maybe doesn't like it, so gets rid of it as quick as possible. Yeah, it's oh dear. Andrew did a seahorse question. Jeff's like, yes. The thing I see whenever I know when seahorses give birth, it's the male, blah blah blah, and all that. It's just whenever I see a seahorse giving birth, it just looks like he's blowing his load. That's just what it looks like to me. I'll have to catch the replay and see how many questions I can get right. Copy. Seahorses are bugger to get the saddle on. That they are. I mean, when you see the size of the seahorse, and you think, well, Neptune's chariot was towed by seahorses. I mean, Neptune must have been tiny. How that big? At most. A chariot, what was it, a clamshell towed by 4 seahorses? It's going to be teeny. It's going to be like the size of a G.I. Joe. They were giant seahorses. And a giant clam. Because we all like a nice big clam, don't we? Sorry. I can't. If I'm talking, I can't. Milady! Matt Waddell, I can't hear you on the porch, relaxing and lurking. Happy Mother's Day, milady. Happy Mother's Day. And stay away from tunnels. No, it's not too soon to make that joke. I mean, it was like literally 2 or 3 hours after the news broke about what happened to Lady Diana Spencer, formerly Princess Diana. Yeah, I heard the first jokes about 3 hours later. Yes. I'm starting to think it's just us Brits who are weird and have like Mother's Day at a different time of year to everyone else. That's wouldn't be the first time we did something just to be awkward. No, not too soon. I will keep my views to myself. what was their favourite ice cream? Walls. Absolute victim of the institution. Didn't help herself though either. I mean, let's be honest, Harry is a Hewitt, not a Windsor. Oh, there is some very good ice cream in Cornwall and Devon. Is it Horton's ice cream is Devon and Kelly's is Cornish? Yeah. What was the last thing that went through her mind? Mercedes badge. Yes, all those jokes. Hello, Debs, me dearie. How are you? Big hugs and happy Mama and Grandmama's Day. The gear shift went somewhere else, Adele. You sent Adele Cornish tea. Oh, has it got that distinct tinny flavour to it? Tastes metallic. Oh, what's Mufti been breeding? Fishies or furries? I don't mean them kind of furries. Yeah, ice cream would have melted. Yeah, there are certain things you don't send. Quite mild metallic taste may come from the packaging. It's from the tin. Cornwall being a famous tin mining part of the world. What are my must-have accessory for my ponds? Oxygenating pondweed, sludge, snails, freshwater shrimp, bloodworms, leeches, pretty much all natural stuff. Technically, yes, there is a filter in my pond, but the filter clogs up after about 2 days and it gets to run the rest of the time without any filtering going on. Oh, a net to go over the top of the pond. That's the best accessory for any pond that you've got to fish in. Um, Especially if there are cats or herons or anything like that in the area, raccoons. They will all take fish out of the pond quite happily. Don't forget the water. I wouldn't really put the water as an accessory to a pond. And without water, a pond is literally just a hole in the ground. With a bit of plastic in it. A deck chair, very useful. Or folding camping chair, such as I'm sitting in. Sunday fundy jokes. Yes. Is the accessory, but yes. But yeah, I swear by a good thick layer of sludge in the bottom of a pond. That's where all the bacteria will live, and given how much life is in my pond, the fact that it's got zero nitrates tells you that there is a full a full cycle going on in there. The nitrates are being eaten as well, courtesy of a thick layer of gunk in the bottom. which most pond people don't like. I have watched quite a few videos on pondy things on the YouTube. Actually, speaking of which, please tell me there's an Australian motors channel called YouTube. There's something that dawned on me the other day. I was watching some V8 supercars and they had the Ute race on. Like, there's got to be a channel. Come on, if no one's come up with that idea, someone has to take it. Putting your bike in the pond helps the cycle. That's why we find so many in the canals. Yeah, that's got nothing to do with drunk people stealing them. Yeah, those and shopping trolleys and traffic cones as well. They help in a canal. Lots of bike locks as well in the bottom of those. And if you watch any of the magnet fishing channels, you'd be amazed how often they're pulling unexploded ordnance out of them as well. In the UK, it'd be bombs from World War II. A lot of times in the US, they're pulling guns out of them. Bicycle. It goes, that's what you call a bike that goes forwards and backwards. It's a bicycle, goes both ways. Yeah, if you get a chance to watch some like the magnet fishing channels, okay, majority of what they pull out is literally just trash. It'll be empty safes, guns, bombs, grenades, scooters, bikes, motorbikes, cars, all sorts. It gets dumped in rivers. It's amazing there's a life in any of them. There's one I saw a while back. They pulled a Harley Davidson out of the river. I mean, admittedly, that's probably the best use for a Harley Davidson as a natural reef, but oh yes, don't tell Donna. Yes, Harley Tractorson, as I normally call them. They've got about the same level as technology as a 1940s tractor. We've got a few Americans here. Does anyone know why Harley still can't make an efficient engine and gearbox combination? Why they have to do them separately, and they haven't quite worked out how to put them all in one and make a smaller engine that makes more power, uses less fuel, makes the bike weigh a lot less. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, it's not broke, but could certainly be more efficient. It's one of those things that I'll hear people talking about. Oh, it's 80 or 90 horsepower, and I'm like, damn, we get that out of a 250cc four-stroke. New Harleys just aren't the same. They finally decided that pig iron isn't a good thing to make a motorbike from, and that suspension is a good idea, and that really long forks make the thing handle like a dog, and a really tiny front tire means you got sod all brakes. They figured that out now, have they? Oh, bless them. Does make me laugh when you see Harley sports bike. It's just like, no, it's not. It's mosquito dunks, pond soil, and extra nets. What you'll want isn't your standard aquarium net. You'll want what I would call a landing net for fishing. you do see them on the channels that have got monster fish. Mary did get me a folding one somewhere. I can't remember where I put it. Might actually be in there behind me. I'll have a rummage. We'll see if we can find it. Because I will have put it somewhere sensible. I won't tidy it away and put it somewhere I'll never find it again. He says, "Oh, cramp! Ow, ow! Ugh. Oh. Ah, there it is." Oh, jeez, ow! Now you can all laugh as I try and get up when I got cramp in my hamstring. Ow! Oh, jeez, that hurts. Oh. Ugh. Ooh, need more salt in my diet. So for a pond, either depending on the size of the pond, you might want a longer handle, but that's the sort of net you want. Is this one extendable? I think it is. Yeah, so a nice safe rubberized mesh as well, with no knots in it, which is what we have to use for fishing in this country. It has to be a fish safe net. Now I've got to remember how to put it down again. There we go. Yeah, that's the kind of net you want for a pond. Yes, Adele, we have laws about what kind of nets we can use when we're fishing. There has to be a knotless rubberized net for landing. If you're fishing somewhere where keep nets are allowed, which is where you keep your fish, so you can go, "Ooh, look what I caught at the end of the day." Or if you're match fishing, that clip is a bit short. It's easy enough. You just pull it forwards. The job done. I'm having more difficulties getting the bag done up again. Then if you're carp fishing specifically, but I think also for most coarse fishing nowadays, you need an unhooking mat, which is also a safety thing. Keep the fish safe. You unhook them on the mat, which is a padded mat that you take with you, and you wet it first so you don't damage the fish's scales. Then you have to use barbless hooks, and you put the fish straight back. And some places, specifically the big carp lakes, will specify that you have to use a carp cradle as well, which is basically a bed. So you can unhook the fish in it, and there's no way the fish can get out and hurt itself. It's almost like a portable pond. Merritt, my darling, how are you? Mwah. As you can see, your name is green. You can now enjoy my membership as a gift from Mark. So yes, we have lots of laws and rules with regard to fishing in the UK. Mostly all of them for the good. But when KHV, the koi herpes virus, was going around, because obviously it affects not just koi, it affects all cyprinids. There were net dips at every lake, so every time you went somewhere to fish, you had to dip your net. Yeah, it was Mr. Sturlson, Mark. Marriott, Mark. Yeah, okay. I'm crap. So you had to dip your net in disinfectant to kill any of the bugs on it before you could go fishing, and your feet. in case it was on your feet as well. So hooks have to be barbless for the simple reason, if the line snaps, it means the fish can spit the hook straight out. And no, the hooks don't fall out when you're reeling in the fish. As long as you keep the line tight, the hook won't fall out. As soon as the line goes slack, the fish can spit it out. So again, it's a safety thing for the fish. No lead shot, no lead weights below a certain size or above a certain size. Because a lot of our waterfowl were getting ill from lead as spot of sea fishing. There's a lot less rules about sea fishing, so you should be okay. And no live bait either. So either purchased dead bait, not you catch a small fish, you kill it and you put it on the hook for a big fish. You buy your dead bait from a shop. Saying that, we haven't quite got around to protecting worms and maggots yet. So you can still use those as bait. Most of the time these days, we'd fish with corn or pellets on the hook. Sweet corn, pellets. Let's say maggots aren't quite as popular as they used to be. Worms aren't as popular as they used to be. Bread still does well. Micro boilies. Yes, no lead. The only lead weights you're allowed to use are over an ounce, which is 25.6 grams, because no animals will eat them, and below a size 8, or size 8 and below, because they're so small that they go straight through the animal and don't get stuck inside. But if you're trying to fit size 8 shot to your line, you only use them when you're using really light gear anyway, because they just won't fit on a thicker line. Anything thicker than about 5 pound breaking strain, you won't get a size 8 shot to stay on it. Minute. And they go down to a size 13, which is absolutely microscopic, but needed when pole fishing, just to get the pole bristle just sat perfectly in the water. So I don't know a huge amount about sea fishing. Or your best bet, literally, would be to watch some YouTube videos. Same as with pretty much anything these days. If you want to know something, there will be videos on YouTube. Yeah. Slightly heavier lines, depending on whether you're fishing from a beach or a pier or a boat, you want a different rod, but that's why you're watching me. Am I expected to know everything about everything? So what you want is you want me to watch a bunch of videos on sea fishing so I can tell you about it. Oh, Danny boy, your pipes are full of bacterial sludge, as all of our pipes are. I watch way too many pond videos. I'll say this is it. And if you watch one, then the information in that might not exactly be 100% accurate or quite what you're looking for. So you watch several different videos and you average them out. That's what I do anyway. Hola, Mexicali, how you doing? Oh, Daniel, have you recovered yet? I'm assuming you've been out on the lash then, Danny boy. Or you've been injuring yourself. Have you done a Sharpe? Or you've been doing your own stunts again? Or did you forget Mrs. DKF's birthday? It's one of those. Okay, now that's another one I'm going to need to get right. Mexicali, is it pronounced George or Jorge? Or Jorge? Because I do like to get people's names right. I'll probably forget, at least I've asked. Because I do know sometimes the English pronunciation. Live stream last night nearly ended. Recovered now though. Is that Jeff and the seahorses again? Or have you been eating all the cake? Because Mary and I got a bit carried away and basically, Jorge, thank you very much. I shall try and remember that. Jeff with the cherry on the seahorse. Okay. It's that Magnum tash. It gets you every time. Keep expecting to see him drive off in a Testarossa. Oh, we've got to get Jeff to wear a Hawaiian shirt one day. That would just be epic. Come on, Andrew. You've managed to wangle the countdown theme music. See if you can wangle the Magnum PI music for him. That would be hilarious. Yes. And I'm not going to let that joke go because it's funny. And Jeff doesn't take offense at it either. Not that I can remember the Magnum tune at the moment. Did 007 Jeff? Oh, please tell me you had him hold a banana instead of a Walther PBK. Peas in a pod clip. Ah, yes. It's all good. It's all fun between people who know each other. If I say something that you don't like as a person, or you find it offensive to it, just tell me. Because I think we all know about by now that there is a line, and for me, it's off in the distance somewhere. I'm so far past the line. It's like when people tell me my mind's in the gutter, and I'm like, no, I look up at the gutter. I'm in the sewer. I can say things that might be taken the wrong way. They aren't meant to be. But if I do say something you don't like, just tell me. I won't take offense. We all have our limits. And sometimes I'm not particularly great at judging people's limits. Oh, you're not stealing my tactics, are you, Dan? Well. So if I can't make it next Saturday, I should be clear for a couple of Saturdays coming up at least. What's going to happen? You get offended, move on, get over it. Exactly. Yeah, it's called adulting or adulting. Yeah, we all get upset and offended at things sometimes. Someone says something you don't like or does something you don't like. You don't make a big drama out of it. You just go, yeah, don't do that again and carry on. It's really that simple. We're not in high school anymore, as much as some people still act like they are. I was the popular girl at high school. Everyone must like me. Oh, you're an entitled little bee, and I can see right through it. Some knob put the answer up. Oh dear. Can't cheat when the rules get made up as we go along. Just remember to type guppy once and pretty much guaranteed to win. Um, Owning you're being offended. Don't project and say that's offensive. Say I'm offended. I don't like that. Yeah. Yes. Don't take offense for other people. We all get offended by different things. A black guy I used to know who absolutely would wet himself at the most racist jokes you could ever imagine. Because he understood they were jokes and they were funny. Then, I've heard other people get offended when you said, well, that's called popcorn and kettle black, isn't it? You can't say that, that's racist. What? What's racist about kettles and pots? It comes from a time when the pot and the kettle were made out of cast iron and they were both black. That's like the ghost calling the cigarette white. It's... Howdy, African orchid dude. What's my favourite fish and would I drink it in a smoothie? No, I wouldn't because I don't drink smoothies. And it probably tastes horrible. My favourite fish is probably bristle noses, as that's not going to come to any surprise to anyone. But my dream fish is a fish that for some reason only I can breed and everyone wants them. Need to be a monster fish for me to drink it in a smoothie. Touche, Dan, touche. Probably a Captinicus birdsius monstrous. That'd be a monster eye, wouldn't it? I'm wearing a black t-shirt. Am I racist? Hey. There's someone who probably claim so. I'm wearing a black shirt with the lyrics from a Finnish metal band on it, so that's racist on so many fronts. And I have long hair, which is sexist because it should be women that have long hair. Ooh. Fish fillet is my favourite. But which fish? Which fish? Probably cod. Let's be honest. Actually, no, probably not cod these days. Probably something like bassa or generic whitefish. No beard too. Yes, exactly. Well, I do have the stubble. It's just mostly white, so it doesn't show up too much. Oh no, we've got a proper ledge. Blackie, you galah, how you diddling? Always good to see you, my friend. Speaking of long-haired males. Oh, lady, I had to make a sandwich. Oh, I'm not making that joke. I think I may have gotten away with the hair one, but I'm not going down the sandwich front. Racism or any kind of narcissism needs to have intended ill will. Being offended when there's no harm meant is offensive in my book. Exactly. It's, there's a difference between telling a joke that is funny and saying something actually offensive directed at a person. So a comedian, like for example, and this is probably going to get me demonetized, one of Jimmy Carr's, if you're not familiar with Jimmy Carr, trust me, you'll love, um, was a joke about sending a load of mosquito nets to Africa, because how else are we going to stop the mosquitoes getting AIDS? Right, now that's a really bad joke. Um, no, I suspect Jimmy Carr has some material about Donald Trump. Um, but yeah, so it was and there were people complained about that joke, but it wasn't aimed at a person. It wasn't being offensive. It's a joke told to a large audience who all laughed. Oh, Ricky's out drinking again. Have one for me, my friend. Have a have a good pint of Guinness or a pint of Newcastle Brown. That'll sort you out. Yeah, it's top shelf writing. It's funny, but it also makes you think. Bottle of Henry's. Yeah, it's. I mean, go back. I mean, there's a grand tradition of comics pushing the envelope as far as I can push it, as a criticism of the social norms. It's not. Guinness is not really bad. Guinness is what happens when you liquidize penguins. All the white stuff floats to the top. No, I think you're confusing it with Foster's, Ricky. As all the Aussies leave. I know what Blackie will have you drinking, a bag of goon. Lenny Bruce liked a few visits indoors. He did. But yes. So these days, things can be taken, because of social media and everyone's got a camera and everyone but me can edit. Things can be then put in such a way that they are well out of context and completely miss the entire point of what was being said just because someone said an offensive word or an offensive term. When the oversensitive wave passes over, there'll be a load of angry people scratching their heads wondering what to be peed off about next. Electricity prices. That's what it's going to be. Or religion, perhaps. It'll be something like that. As long as they stop supergluing themselves to things. See you later, Ricky. Don't drink too much, my friend. When the girl that looked good at 8 p.m. start, well, when the girl that didn't look good at 8 p.m. starts looking good, you've had enough. Everyone does seem to be annoyed all the time. I ain't got time for that. don't do drama. It's just not. I just don't see the point. Why is the sky blue and the grass green? That's because people don't understand basic physics. Uh, it's to do with light refraction and reflection. How different wavelengths are reflected differently or refracted differently by different things, chemicals. And we won't get into that one, because that'd be a really confusing one at this time of day. I didn't get a chance to glue in the coronation and got arrested, and then they complained about being arrested for doing that. Although I did have to laugh about the people who mowed a giant cock into the grass. That's very English. Mow a giant cock and balls into the grass. Yeah, I get mad over something dumb. So many whiny babies out of my mum. I'm giving something to whine about. This is it. Is that people are sort of my age and older, roundabout, not quite boomers, Generation Xers. If we were whinging and whining about something silly, then we got a slap round the head and actually given something to cry about. Yes. One mantra still rings true. Be excellent to each other. It does. And it's a dumb movie. It's not particularly a good movie. But there's never been a truer word said. I mean, you can take the Bible and just condense it down to that one sentence. Be excellent to each other. Or be like Andrew and just be an arse to everyone. It's treat people how you'd like to be treated. Yeah, if you treat people well, they'll generally treat you well. If you treat them like rubbish, then they'll treat you like rubbish. I also think there needs to be a Karen Act passed in Parliament as well. It's what I call a daddy ball. I think I'm in 3 sizes: daddy ball, a mummy ball, and a baby ball. Do. Yeah, so what, the 473 mil? It's dead now though. It's a Karen Act, or bring it in that once a month, anyone who works in a customer-facing role has a freebie. Every month you get one freebie, so that if you get a Karen, you can tell them. You can tell them exactly what you think of them in no uncertain terms, and there's nothing they can do about it, and you won't get fired for it. Yeah, I'd want to give me a week. Yeah, we have to draw the line. I reckon a month, but that might just be because the customers I tend to deal with, and my tolerance for Karening is a little higher than some. Most of the time we get tradespeople or people who quite happily have a laugh with you. Every so often you get the rude one or the snotty one, or the one who can't understand why you don't carry all 40,000 odd lines of stock at every single moment. Why they might have to wait a day, or why when they ordered something online at 11 o'clock yesterday, why it's not in the store to collect 8 a.m. the next morning. That's why we need the COVID mask back, unlimited gimmies. Oh, I do miss that so much. I mean, I hated having to wear them for like hours on end, but you could say so much under your breath and mouth it, and they'd have no idea. So you'd be standing there and you'd be looking all professional with your fake customer service smile on, which doesn't show in the eyes, saying, yes, I'm really sorry, and blah, 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 explaining all nicely while under your breath you're going, "You absolute fucking yeah. I wish you would die." Anger isn't a wasted emotion, so it is. It is anger and stress, and it's just not worth it. Especially most of the times, people are getting angry at the people who have absolutely no control over what's happened. It's nothing. It's not them. They're just the poor sap at the end of the line that has to deal with the customers, generally on pretty much minimum wage or just slightly above it. And I want to speak to a manager. Go for it. They're going to tell you the same thing I have. Favorite COVID masters, my friend, don't like you either. One thing I do miss is being able to cough once in a shop and clear an aisle. That was always good. So how about the local sporting franchising? Yes, not happening. Um, if you're referring to me being a bicyclist, then that's just for fun. If you're referring to another news story that I've probably not paid any attention to, yeah, I'll say the only masks I had outside of the one I had for work, which was a work branded one, so I was like, yeah, screw it, wear it. I had one with different plecos on it and one with different shrimpies on it. I can't tell you how many times I whispered F off to a customer on my mask. Oh, and the amount of times I've, uh, I've, yeah. If you say thank you fairly quickly, you can change the thank to something else with 4 letters, and most people aren't aware. Your colleagues will be because they've heard you say it 3,000 times already, but a customer won't have a clue that you just told them to F off. The thing is, it's when you're dealing with one of those customers, um, and your colleagues are like, "How the hell did you stay polite?" You know, my job. How the hell did you keep being friendly and helpful and polite when they were? Yeah, well, it's my job. They're talking to our friendly seahorse. Nay, blah 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 blah. I wonder what a horse would sound like neighing under the water. Um, yes, I really just don't get the whole professionalism. Yeah, also a case of been there, seen it, done it before. Bought the t-shirt, worn it out, used it as a cleaning rag, and then thrown it away. When we worked in the bar, the cook was saying, "Shagging a fag." Yeah, you got it sorted, my lady. Just stay at home. Yeah, so, and the thing is, I don't know about other countries, but during lockdown here, those of us who were like working in retail in the shops that were staying open, people were basically treating us like we're heroes or something. You know, it's like, oh, it's amazing that you guys, you're still doing this and blah blah blah. Literally, as soon as it ended, we were back to being scum of the earth again. Stay at home and live vicariously through my streams. Yes, my tales of things I've done and it's gone wrong. Um, yeah, it's just literally as soon as I could get alcohol from the pub again, yeah, we went back to being scum. and, and also, you can always tell when you're dealing with someone who's done that job before. Yeah, they're like, yeah, I get it. don't cause you any problems whatsoever, even if something goes wrong. They're like, yeah, I've been there, done that. Yeah, like Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, it's just all stuff that's gone wrong. Oh dear, who'd have thought we'd got the Chaucer from Karen? Oh, yeah, that's a yeah. And yes, I think Karening should become a verb as well. So when someone is being a Karen, they are actively Karening. So when they're planting the courgettes this year, the seeds are already out. We're just waiting for them to sprout now, and then they should have come up by now, really. But weather's not exactly been warm, has it? So now you're about on time. I think I probably planted mine a bit early then. Dee Dee, my dear, how are you? Pardon me. Fine to go out here. Yeah, I mean it's. I've not worn a mask for a long time, but we still do get customers come in with the masks on, and I've been in other shops where they like, people have said, "Why are you wearing a mask?" And I'm like, "Oh, there's probably a reason for it." I'm guessing that reason is they're probably, if they catch COVID, it's likely to kill them. Um, Still frost on the ground last week, so I thought I had ages. Yeah, it's we've not had. Well, we did have a frost a couple of weeks ago, but I think it's 20 degrees today, so exactly. If you're immunodeficient or you've got existing lung problems, it's just bloody sensible, you know. And it's the fact that we all acted like it was such a weird thing, whereas in Japan it's just been that way for decades. If you're ill, you wear a mask. 20 degrees, living in a tropical. I've got the back door open, Dan. Back door's been open all day. Mind you, it's the first day this week. It hasn't peed down with rain. I think we had 3 days of thunderstorms. It was thunderstorms Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, some which were pretty big. Of course, flash flooding up on the Norfolk coast. I think some like 2.7 inches of rain in 2 hours at one point. Slightly different to last year. So fingers crossed we won't have a big drought and a ludicrously long heat wave. Um, yes, yeah, more my kind of weather. So, and we're back to rain again tomorrow. So there we go. The the one day that I didn't really have to go out anywhere on foot or on my bike, like go to work or anything, it doesn't rain. And the days I've got to be out and about, it's going to rain again. Hey, kind of annoyingly, I'm working Monday and Tuesday this week. So I've got to do all my water changes Monday morning and Tuesday morning. Had sun for a day and sales of Bermuda shorts shot up 700%. I think I might still have a pair of Bermuda shorts somewhere from the 90s. They were like neon green and pink. I think they might still be kicking around somewhere. They were basically like shell suit shorts. I think they were meant to be like swimming shorts, but obviously I don't swim. I don't do water. I'm all right putting my hands in it, putting my legs in it. Nope. Um, I say if Mary and I go down to Netshall Heath again this summer and go paddling in the river, I will actually film it. Then there will be feet. Um, but yeah, we used to do backstroke. This Wookie just doesn't do water. This Wookie can't get back in the bath. So say I'm in the. Don't go thinking too much. Say I'm in the bath and the phone rings and I have to get out of the bath or whatever. If the water's gone murky because of soap and Wookie gunk, I can't get back in it because I can't see the bottom. Dee Dee's a mermaid and so am I. Ooh. Yes. We're back on the giant clamshells again, aren't we? Oh dear. You see how these subjects just keep rolling into each other? Um, yeah, the reason you won't catch me in water is because I have a phobia. I know, ridiculous for someone who used to go fishing a lot and now who keeps fish. But yes, I have a phobia. Mind you, I was watching a video the other, oh, it might have been yesterday, of someone doing the whole bike packing thing, and apparently they're an agoraphobic or mildly agoraphobic. So when they got to outside of Thetford Forest, like the north on the fens and the heath, where it's basically dead flat and all you can see is sky. It's just huge skies. Think like the Great Plains or something like that. It's very similar, or the outback. And yeah, they started freaking out because yeah, it was so open. The upside of it though is you can see the weather coming in, so you can. If you know the wind's blowing a certain way, you can see the rain 20 miles away. You go, okay, we'll get ready for that. I've had it before. In many years ago, I've been fishing and I've been one side of the pond or lake, and other people have been the other side, and I've seen the rain come in, and like, yeah, okay, we got plenty of time yet. We got plenty. Oh, yep, that's about 5 minutes away. Start rustling around and put up my brolly and get weird looks from the people the other side of the lake. And oh dear, it's because I run out of drink. Um, but yeah, sat there, put up my brolly, get weird looks, and then they get wet. Yeah, I saw that coming. Agrophobic. Aggression repels me. Yeah, I'm just aquaphobic, is it? I can't remember what it is. I mean, some people are scared of, or phobia phobic. They're scared of being scared. So they won't do anything or see anything, do anything that could be scary. And that's taking risk aversion to a whole new level. At that point, I think it probably is a mental illness. Um, Something I could probably learn to do, actually, be more risk averse. Now, I won't take financial risks, but I'll risk my body quite happily without realizing it. Ooh. Pardon me. Oh, that cleared the cough out. I won't swim where I can't see the bottom. So I got thrown into a swimming pool when I was like 5 or 6 by a teacher and sank. So yeah, you won't get me in a swimming pool or a pond or a river or a sea or anything like that. It's not happening. Oh. Thanks for entertaining. Big love to all. Ponds want me and my hubby volunteer. Or if hubby's volunteering, you got to go do it, Lady Di. You got to take advantage of hubby volunteering, because that means you can stand and point at what you want done, and then he'll do it for you. Then you just have to make him a sandwich afterwards. Sorry. But have a wonderful week, my lady. The big bag of algae Smarties. This one of my birthday prezzies. Yes, I'm that weirdo again that I get algae wafers as a birthday present. There's one bag. As the remains of the previous bag. Oh, stretch. But what I do is I decant them into there. And that's probably about a week's use. So yeah, we go through algae wafers like crazy. Well, I don't. Bristle noses do. It's a problem when you've got as many as I've got. Should we add up how many algae wafers Sharpe goes through a day? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 25, 28, 31, 33, 35, 37. Yeah, we generally go between 38 and 40 algae wafers a day. Run the bags equally, use the bags to work on my biceps. Yeah, I do have a slight case of noodle arm. I do okay at work. I'm generally the one people call when they can't lift a radiator or something. I'm talking people bigger than me who apparently aren't strong enough to move a 40-kilo radiator, let alone pick it up and can walk with it. I think it's just laziness on their part, but you know, makes me more useful. And I'm all for making myself more useful and making other people less useful. Means I'm less likely to get in trouble. And if there are cutbacks, I won't be the first. Mental strength, missing in some. Yeah. It's not easy, therefore I can't do it. To be fair, it's usually the same people who do actually pay attention to manual handling courses and then, oh no, I can't lift anything because my knees hurt. I can't bend my knees to pick something up. Use your back then. That's probably why my back's shot, but you know, because I had lots of knee problems when I was younger, and yeah, so I had to lift with my back, and now I've buggered my back up. Also, another reason I want to get a bit fitter by doing zoomies on a bicycle. Lose a bit of weight, and it should be easier on the joints than the rest of me. And then when I do have to finally go to the doctors or something and they start taking all my bloods and what have you, then it might not be too bad. At the moment, I think they'd probably find there might be some blood in my sugar and caffeine stream. Yeah, it's willpower, gumption as we used to call it. Get up and go, got up and went. But again, I think that's a generational thing. Those of us who are older just do it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking all younger people. Adam and Nadine, I know, both work their butts off and not afraid of a bit of hard work. They get that from their mum. It's just one of those things, really. Gumption. Sharpe admitted he was doing shows in the 50s. Tommy! How's it going, my friend? Well, Sharpe, I'm quite happy. I've accidentally called myself Sharty in a video before, so yeah, Shard, I can deal with that. A shard is sharp. See, there you go. Yeah, I've sharted more than once in my life. Funniest creak in YouTube land. Yes. Tommy and the kings of the underworld. Oh dear. Hope all is well with you, Tommy. I hope you've had lots of plant sales and things like that going well. Yeah. Yeah. I've just mental block, brain fart, run out of things to talk about. But hey, we've only got another 6 minutes to go. That's something I wanted to mention. After my stream, if you go to Facebook and the group Freshwater Fish Keeping, Tom Ackrill will be running a FaceTube live stream chat thingy, so you can go and watch that for an hour. And if you do, tell him Sharpe sent you. Pond is sold out. New order being done today. Hopefully we'll have by Thursday, Friday this week to have more available again. Yay! That's what we want. Sell out everything you got all the time. I mean, if I could do that, I probably wouldn't work. Actually, I'd probably just buy another pair of bristle noses. I'd definitely be buying a large female lemon blue eye. So, ordered a lot more this time. Good. Yes, the more you got, the more you can sell, hopefully. And hopefully you don't get stuck with them. But yeah, I mean, if I could sell every fish and snail I can breed, I wouldn't be working, let's be honest. Actually, yeah, I probably would work 16 hours a week just to get my national insurance stamp paid. So I've got a bit of pension when I retire. But yeah, as I say, and if I had a pair of lemon blue eyes breeding, then I would have 150 times 3 is 450, 900, 1,050. If I could sell everything I bred every month, that would be over $1,000 just from 3 pair of bristle noses. Add the shrimp and the snails and the shellies and the limias and everything else, I would be sorted. I can tell you how the Nanakara farm is going, Danny. I can do even better than that. As I spotted this as I was going to work. No, not WhatsApp, Messenger. That's the one we want. But yes, it turns out they're not cave breeders. They don't. They bred in the cave previously because that was all they had. So I swapped over the coconut hut with half a flower pot, and they've laid eggs all over the top of the flower pot because the pistos weren't showing any signs of going into the flower pot. So I put the coconut cave in with them and put the flower pot in with the Nanakara. Now, it's worked for the Nanakara at least. So hopefully this time the eggs don't get eaten, the wrigglers don't get eaten, and we get free swimming anomalates. And then hopefully, then it's just a case of getting the ye old shrimpy tank to the same parameters as the Nanakara tank, and then try and catch baby fish in a very hard to catch fish in tank. So it might be a case of, they've got big leaves, they've got catappa leaves and teak leaves in there. That's where she spawned the last time, was in the folded over teak leaf. So that might be it. They spawn like rams, I think. So there's not enough room to move the leaves around in there. There's a big chunk of wood in there, and you've seen the size of that Anubias. So yeah, I mean, hell, there is shrimp in there that I can't catch. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure once the eggs hatch, they'll move them, or she will move them to somewhere where there's a lot of food, which there's plenty of leaf litter in the bottom of that tank now, so there should be plenty of food, and there's thousands of daphnia swimming around in there as well. So with a bit of luck, they'll grow quick and they'll be hopefully fairly easy to catch, whether we use an airline siphon to suck them out, or a trap, or a net, which would be a nightmare. And same the new tank, which is now a year old almost, or more than a year old, I think, maybe, can't remember. Yeah, there's still one criblet that's in there that I can't catch. Just disappears instantly. So you lift the lid on the tank, it just disappears. And being a bow front as well, you can't trap it up against the glass and get it that way. You're going to hit the likes that you had a nice time. I think everyone else has, Dan. But thank you very much. And it is my time. My time is up. I've probably been up for a couple of minutes. So if you're still looking for some fishy entertainment, head over to Faceache, Freshwater Fish Keeping. Tell Tom I sent you. I might be there, I might not. Depends how much I want to eat. Oh, pardon me, or if I need the loo first. But yes. So thank everyone for being here. Thank you, Mark, for the membershipies. Have a good week. Peace out. As I say, this week's video will be on the new bike. Rock on. Bye bye. Sunday shop the do 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 do. Sunday shop the do 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 do. Sunday shop the do 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 do. Ah.